All right, all right, all right. We're here. We're here. What's up, Birdman?
Hey, it's another day, another dollar.
Yes, sir. We are here on the official call, and we just had a very exciting weekend, and for me, a very exciting week.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Uh,
yeah,
what a wonderful week. Uh, and the beautiful thing about it is that it's a week that really pumps some needed, I think, blood into the boxing game. This was a wonderful week. We had three shows, culminating obviously with the big show, but uh, it was a good infusion into the boxing game. Uh, great, great, great.
yeah. I was a bit surprised when initially it was announced that the fight was going to be at the Allegiant Stadium where the Raiders play. Uh, my first thought was that that was too big. I mean, the T-Mobile is where our biggest fights have taken place, and I know that's over 20,000. Uh, I don't know if it's between 20, 22,000, whatever. But then when they said Allegiant, and I know that when the Raiders play, you're talking 60,000. And then
Yeah.
when you add the infield with chairs, etc., then shucks, you could be possibly talking 70,000. And apparently they announced that the in attendance Saturday night was 73,000.
Yes, 70. It was 70,400.
Wow.
Yeah, 70,400, and it wouldn't surprise me that they could probably add another one or 200. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they filled it up. I mean, there was people there, big time,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you could see that build up
yeah.
as it led. I went to, for us, Bird, we don't attend press conferences and all that when we were officials or referees. But
Hello.
yeah, I was able. Can you hear me?
Call you back. Yeah.
But I was able to go to the last press conference as well as the weigh in, and believe me, what an excitement it was just to be there. So that was the early indication that, in my thought, yeah, we might get maybe 45, 50,000, but 73,000 was off the
Mm-hmm.
hook. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I tell you what. I'm really happy about all of the stuff that happened over the weekend, and uh, mostly I'm hoping that this is the beginning of a rejuvenation of our wonderful sport.
Yes. Yes, it can be. And as they say, there's a new kid on the block. Well, I won't say new. He's been on the block, but this win for Terrence, it elevates him to another level.
Yeah, yeah, and what it says is that the real test of who you are is not done in the press. It's not done in anywhere else but that four square. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about. You can talk about all of that, but the bottom line is the end result is going to happen in that four square, in that ring. What happened in
Yeah,
that ring is what it's all about. What happens in that ring tells the story.
Tells the story, and that's what the official call podcast is all about. Taking weekends like what we just had, and sharing it with the fans. And you know, I asked quite a few people, celebrities as well, boxing experts like James Tony and Sugar Shane Mosley, and to get their opinion. And well, first of all, to talk about my own personal opinion, I gave two answers. I felt that if the fight went the distance, that it would favor Crawford
Mm-hmm.
because of what we had discussed prior, what he has in his toolbox to make it difficult for Canelo. And at the same, I knew that if Canelo had the could possibly catch Crawford with a couple of good shots and hurt him, then the fight could possibly end on either TKO or a knockout.
Mm-hmm.
But Terrence was all but ready
Yeah,
and prepared.
that he was. That he was. Well,
Yes.
I'm still very active, and so I've never done it, and I never will until sometime in the future. So when people ask me, well, what do you think? Who's going to do this? My response has always been that fights are won from the waist down. And that's what I would say. When people say, well, what do you think? I said, well, let me say this. Fights are won from the waist down, not necessarily from the waist up. And they looked at me like kind of, oh, what are you talking about? I'm saying, bottom line, footwork. Waist down, the footwork is what puts you into the position to do what it is you need to do. And most importantly, to keep the other person from doing what they want to do. Well,
Right.
guess what? That's precisely how this fight played out.
That was one of the main keys. The other one for me, Bird, was the moving up in weight, and how was Crawford going to be able to handle going up three weight classes? And well, he definitely answered that. But last week, prior to the fight, amongst the media and the fans and the fighters, I heard that Terrence Crawford, when he's not fighting, his walk around weight was around 165. And I never thought about that. Well, if his walk around weight is 165, he's not worried about what his weight's going to be at at fight time, because his walk around weight is almost that. The only thing he has to do in training is maintain it, as opposed to walking around weight at 148 or 150, because that's the weight class that he's obviously won his titles at. But the fact that 168, he was able to manage it well. He just looked great in the ring.
That he did. And the thing about it is that I met Terrence on a number of occasions, and
Yes.
your body has a certain frame, and there's only so much you can put on that frame, comfortably.
Yes.
But I think what most people were talking about is that Canelo probably walks around somewhere around 180, maybe
Yes.
185.
Yes.
And so he's coming down in that way.
He's
If
coming
you
down
walk
to get,
buck 60, and then you go what you need to do, and I think it was revealed when you looked at Crawford, you need to go in and really refine, all of that to add muscle lean
Yes.
muscle to it.
Yes.
And that's what he did. He
Yeah.
really looked good. He really looked cut. And the other thing that Bernard Hopkins always made this point. He said, I always walk around only about anywhere from 5 to 8 pounds over my fighting weight.
Right.
And what that allows him to do when he goes to camp is focus on his boxing strategy, focus on
Yes.
strategy for that fight rather than worrying about, I got to drop this amount of weight. I got to do this. I can focus more on what I need to do in the fight to win. And,
Right.
uh, and I think a little bit of that played into this.
Right.
Uh, I think a little bit of that played into this. He said he had a wonderful camp, and
Yeah.
you know, and it showed.
It showed, and you're making a good point. Years ago, when Freddie Roach was working with Manny Pacquiao, he made a similar statement. He said, "When my fighter gets to camp and when we're watching film," he said, when I watch film of the other fighter that he's fighting, he said, I look at that fighter's habits and whatever habits he's developed, then we try to counter those habits because we know what he's going to do.
Hmm.
So it's a point very well taken.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, and I tell you that uh, if you can focus on what it is you need to do rather than uh, something that's peripheral, you know, then you've got to come into the fight with a higher level of confidence because you're not worried about when I step on this scale, man. Yeah, I don't know. You're not
Yeah.
worried about that. You come in into that weigh in confident that you're going to come
Yes.
in. You're going to come in on point, on weight, and not have to. That's another worry you don't have to worry about. And the
Right.
less you have to worry about coming up to the fight, the better it is for you uh, because your total focus now can be on the fight itself.
Exactly. And fans, you are capable now of coming online. If you like to join this conversation, the link to join is in the chat, so you can just do your do, and we'll pick up your call, and we'd like to hear from you. So, what do you think now, Bird, is next for Terrence Bud Crawford?
Well, I think what he's going to do, what he pretty much said he's going to do, is he's going to just relax and enjoy uh, this wonderful accomplishment. He's going to sit back. He's going to enjoy it for a while, and he's deserving. He's deserving
Yes,
that he do that, you know.
yes,
And then uh, there are some possibilities out there. No one really knows, but obviously the possibility of a rematch with Canelo that was hinted at
yeah,
during the course of the post-fight interviews. Then there's some interesting people at probably a buck 75 who might be able to come down to 168, Bivol or Benavides. That um, is a possibility for
right,
Terrence. Um, I don't think that Terrence wants to go back down, but if he goes back down, there's some uh, attractive fights at 160. So I think that it's just he's going to sit back, he's going to relax, and look at all what the landscape looks like, and make a decision based upon what's going to be best for him.
right, yeah, yeah. Well, again, I want to remind fans that you can call in at 12:40 and be a part of this call. We'd love to hear from you. Um, uh, Now, for Canelo, my opinion, Bird, is um, what is he gonna do now? And a lot of fighters, you've been a fighter yourself back in the day. If they're thinking about retiring, they don't want to retire on a loss. They'd rather fight again and retire on a win. What do you say about that?
Well, that's obviously what you want to do. Uh, I just based upon listening to Canelo, uh, I really got that read because what he
Hmm.
said was, "I still feel like I'm a champion. Uh, I'm still ready to go." Uh, he made those comments. I'm paraphrasing now, but basically what he was saying is, uh, I still feel like I'm a champion. I still feel like I can compete, and if the situation is right, that's what I want to do. At least that's what I heard. That's what I sensed, just based
Yeah,
upon his post-fight comments.
yeah,
So, and I think that uh, it certainly has the potential to be another great fight uh,
yes,
if if it's signed. You know.
yes, yeah. Well, Terrence at the press conference did something that I've never heard of. When he walked into the press conference, Canelo was already in the press conference, and Terrence walked in with all the belts that belong. Well, you know how it works.
Mm-hmm.
They when the fight is over, they take the belts and drape the new champion with the belts. But those belts actually belong to Canelo because those are belts that the different boxing organizations awarded to him when he became champ. So Terrence was giving back his belts, and he will receive his belts, his own personalized belts from the different organizations. And I'm talking about the WBC, WBA that were involved and were part of the sanctioning of the fight, which was a gesture that, like I said, I've never seen. And you have to give kudos to Terrence Crawford for doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, uh, I think that a rematch would be sellable, just based upon the tremendous success that of this particular fight.
Hmm.
I know that Dana White UFC is not a fan of doing fights in a football or a stadium,
Yeah.
but I think the success of this particular show, okay, over 70,000 people, um, might kind of move the needle for him. You
Yeah.
know, it just might move the needle for him, and uh, it's certainly a sellable fight. It's
Yes.
something that I think that the public would definitely buy into
Yeah.
uh, with the same zest that they bought into this one.
Yes.
You know, uh, so it's a win for the public. It's a win for the fighters themselves. It's a win for the sport.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, for me, Saturday night, I was involved with the fans because of the section that they had me sitting. There were fans everywhere.
Hmm.
Yeah, I sat in the media section, but just a walk to the bathroom and back. I had fans approaching me. You know how they do. They like to take pictures and the whole that
Yeah,
whole scenario. And but the fan base for Canelo was out there. I mean, and they were out there big. So to see Canelo not fight again would be, I'm sure, a letdown to the fans themselves because they love him so. and they should love him because of the contributions that he has made to the sport and what he's done. At the weigh-in, when I went to the
Mhm.
weigh-in, shucks,
Yeah.
I don't know what the numbers was, but at the T-Mobile, there could have been 10,000 people there
Yeah.
chanting and raving and just having a good time. So you would hate to see that just uh, uh, stop all of a sudden because of a retirement. So that's why I'm like you. They could rematch it if they chose to, because I'm sure there were some Canelo fans that were in the stands that possibly talked, and well, at least I talked to a few, and they thought Canelo won.
Yeah. 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 And you, well, Kenny, we know there's
We
always
know
going to be that 50-50.
that's
you know,
exactly right.
because
That's
there's so
exactly
many
right.
folks out there that uh, they're going to look at that fight based upon their pocketbook and their
Yes,
heart, you know,
yes,
and you're not going to get around that. There's no
right.
way you're going to get around that. There's
Yeah,
always going to be folks that are going to be in one camp or the other.
yeah,
But it's like we always say in the fight game, it doesn't matter. It's going to be resolved in the ring. And it
yes.
was. This
It
was
was.
resolved in the ring. And
Yes.
so that's the important thing.
That's the important thing, and to my knowledge, you did not hear Canelo, or at least I didn't hear or read anything uh, that he was protesting what the decision was by the judges. Two of the judges had the exact same scorecard. They may have gotten there a different way, but when it was all added up, it added up the same. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's no point. If it had been a split decision, then there would probably be more reason for them to think that their man won, but it wasn't. It was a unanimous decision.
Yeah. It was a unanimous decision. And the comments by Canelo simply solidified everything. Because
Yes,
basically what Canelo said was, and again, I'm paraphrasing, what he said was, I just I didn't know how to handle that style. He said,
yes,
basically, this was a microcosm of Canelo and Mayweather. Okay,
yes,
because what he said after the Mayweather fight is, I just couldn't catch him. I
yes,
couldn't reach him. And he
yes,
said the same thing about this fight. He said,
yes,
I had a lot of difficulty with that style. You know, uh, I couldn't. I trained hard. I tried hard, but I just couldn't deal with that style. And
yes,
that's an honest evaluation of what occurred. And I said that.
yes,
Okay.
yeah,
Now, all you folks out there, you can call in now. You can you can call in now. The link to join is in the description.
yes. And it was, and I'm not going to say so bad, but Canelo, in his attempt, was not even able to cut the ring off
Mhm.
so that he could try to land some shots. And you tell me, Bird, when a boxer fights or a puncher fights a boxer, and you got a boxer that has the ability, like you mentioned earlier, from the waist down to move, wouldn't the best shot for the boxer to try to slow him down is throw a lot of punches to the body
Yes, if you can catch him.
if you could catch him?
At the whole point. And again, this is for all you guys and all you fans out there. You cannot hit what you can't see.
Yeah.
You can't hit what you can't reach. And
Right.
this is the purpose of footwork, solid
Right.
footwork.
Yeah.
And the classic examples of those was Muhammad Ali.
Yes.
Muhammad Ali. I mean, most of his fights was won based upon two things. Number
Yes.
one, footwork.
Footwork.
Okay, that and uh, Muhammad Ali would would uh, 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 would do things that would help him. He would say to them, "I'm going to do this, and you can't do nothing about it."
Right.
Basically, that's what happened in this fight. Okay,
Right.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, on another subject, there was some complaints about uh, a couple of fights. And the complaint was that there were some early stoppage.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I was the review official for
Yes.
one of those fights.
Yes.
And uh, and I'm trying to
And
think which one it was.
well, we're looking for call-ins now. So usually when it's controversial, it's usually when we get some call-ins. So fans, you can call in now. Continue, Bird.
Yeah. And the link to join is in the description. But
Yes.
what is so important is we as referees are taught, okay, to look for and control unnecessary damage. Boxing is a damaged sport, but our responsibility is to ensure that unnecessary damage doesn't occur. And that's where that line comes in sometimes, because you have fighters who have that warrior mentality,
Yes.
and they will go out there and they will say to you, I'm going to go out on my shield. And I know I would always say to them, that may well be, but it won't be tonight. And it won't be
Right.
in my ring.
Yeah.
You have to sometimes save fighters from themselves.
Yes.
Sometimes their mind is saying to them things that their body is saying, no, I don't
Right.
agree with you. Okay. And the body will always win. The body will always win.
Fans, you can call in now to join. Just join on the description. Um, uh, Stopping fights. During my career, I've always felt that as far as our work in the ring is the most difficult thing to do because um, though we're saving that that fighter, um, the we've often said we can let a fighter swim out to the deep end, but we don't want him to drown out there. And in the two fights that you had mentioned in regards to Saturday night, I did a little calling around because I happened to miss the fight. You were there,
Mhm.
but the this one kid kind of walked around in the ring and kept shouting out, uh, you know, angrily because the referee stopped it. But the people that I talked to said he was taking some big shots every round. He was taking hard, big shots. Uh, and if he can put up a good enough offense where the referee can say, "Well, I'll let it go another round or two," because there's a possibility that he has a chance. But if we feel that he's just circling around and taking hard shots and not delivering anything back, then, like you said, Bird, we got to look out for them. We have to stop it. And in the other fight, the fighter actually took, as you mentioned, 11, 12 shots, one right after the other. And we've talked about how you can defend multiple punches being thrown. And if you stand there and you're taking them, as opposed to getting on the bicycle, uh, 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 slipping, using the Mayweather style of the shoulder roll, or showing some form of defense that that signals to the referee that you're okay, then we'll extend it. But if not, it's time to shut it down.
Yeah. And what you have to understand is that it's not just, what you saw at the end of it. It's the accumulation of
Yes,
punches taken round after round after round. Uh, and what the question we ask fighters is, and we tell them rather, in the dressing room, you know, you must show me that you can
yes,
intelligently defend yourself. If you do
yes,
that, I'll let you fight. But if you can't do that, I am
yes,
going to protect you. That's my job.
exactly. Yeah,
That's what I'm going to do.
exactly,
And
exactly.
so uh, uh, when you have taken 10, 11, 12, 13 unanswered shots, clean shots, you are not intelligently defending yourself.
Right.
And you have taken it, you, you, you have put it in referee's hands
Yeah,
to take care of you.
right. Exactly. Now, I believe we got a caller on the line. Michael DeJesus, is that correct? Michael, are you there? Okay, maybe not. Our lines are open. You can call in now. The link to join is in the description. Now is the time. Lines are open. Um, Another fight that took place, that I thought was a very entertaining fight. Our local fighter, Fernando Vargas uh, Jr. Took his first loss, and he took his first loss. Um, I thought he did well, but I thought he could have been lacking a little bit. Uh, it was just a fight that I thought that where you were closer to the action than I was, Bird. But I was expecting a little more. What did you see?
Well, I think you I think you hit the nail on the head. Uh, yeah, it was wonderful to have some local talent on the card, and just given the pedigree of Fernando Jr., his father, Hall of Famer. Uh, yeah, I think that I, as well as a lot of other people, uh, thought that the fight would be um, more competitive than it was. Caleb Walsh is a good fighter. He came to compete, um, and he did. Basically,
Yeah,
he controlled the tempo of the fight. He controlled the flow of the fight uh, for the entire length of the fight.
right.
Um, and I think that was reflected in the scoring of the fight. That
Yes,
I think one judge scored it 100 to 90, and others basically were just one round. And what
yeah,
I was observing sitting there was that he, i.e., Fernando Jr., was depending on landing that one big shot.
yeah,
And while he was waiting on trying to land that one big shot, he was taking several shots. And
yeah,
that was happening round after round after round after round after round. And it's
yeah,
important, and I know it's important for fighters to be able to adjust, make the
yeah,
necessary adjustments
Yeah.
within the fight to change the course of the fight. And if
Yes.
you don't do that, then the other person is just going to dominate. And that's exactly what happened.
Well, we talk about the toolbox all the time. And if you have in your toolbox uh, a plan B or a plan C, if plan A don't work, then you have somewhere else to go to hopefully pull out a win. I'm sure that with Fernando Senior, that will be something that he will consider and work with Fernando Junior so that he's prepared the next time, for his next fight.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
Yeah.
like I had mentioned before, and you had mentioned before, we've been in the ring with him sparring
Yep.
and we've seen what he can do. Matter of fact, we've seen what all uh, Fernando Senior's sons have done in the ring. So yeah, I'm sure that those adjustments will be made, and he'll be back. I'm sure
Yeah.
he'll be back. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the lines are open, folks. This is the official call show. Please call in and tell us what you thought about the fights over this weekend. You can call in now, and the link to join is in the description.
Yep. So looking next month, I believe it's next month. We got Keith Thurman is back, and
Oh,
Keith,
wow.
yes, Keith Thurman is back, and Keith Thurman is going to be fighting this kid. I've met him a few times. Matter of fact, he was at the International Boxing Hall of Fame this past June of Fundora, the big tall kid. I think he's
Oh,
6'5".
Sebastian.
Yes, 6'6". Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
Sebastian Fundura.
yes. And
Wow. Okay.
I think that is going to be a very interesting fight. I believe that Fundora has probably been more active in the last several months than Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman kind of uh, uh, had some health issues, I would say.
Hmm.
The last time that I know that he fought was when he fought Manny Pacquiao, which I did the fight, uh, and that fight was a war. Keith went down in the very first round, which just ignited the whole Grand Garden Arena. But he bounced back up, and the fight was a sight to behold. And uh, the fight uh, ended up becoming a TKO in favor of
Hmm.
Pacquiao. Um, so so Keith Thurman ain't going anywhere. It's just that since that fight, I don't know if he's fought again or if he hasn't. But but I know one thing: Keith Thurman, when he does fight, he comes to fight, and so I think we're gonna get a very good show. When that fight takes place,
Hmm.
and yeah, one would say that the clock is ticking.
Well, I've done Sebastian, and
Okay.
it's. I remember when I first did it, looking at his height for the weight that he was fighting, and I went, "Whoa, man!" You know, uh, but this kid can fight,
Yeah.
and for the most part, he fights tall, but he has no problem whatsoever mixing it up on the inside, which for me, you don't do if you're that tall. You
Yeah.
fight tall, you keep him out there. But the good thing about it is he has, again, that warrior mentality. Uh, you come to fight, I'll come to fight. Let's fight.
Right.
So,
Right.
and I know Keith Thurman, back in the day, that was his motto. That was his motto. That was his way. So I'm looking forward to it. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be competitive, but again, a lot of advantages to Fundora based upon his height and his reach. And if a person who is that tall fights tall, uses that height, uses that reach, it can be a very long night for whoever the opponent is.
Right. Well, Fundora, he's a good kid. Uh, uh, he fought on the Manny Pacquiao card just a few months back. I was there. You had a better seat than I did. Uh, what the fight was a good fight. I can't even remember his opponent's name, but it was a entertaining fight. Um, I thought that the fight kind of flipped back and forward during the course of the fight, um, but but Fundora, and I can't even remember. I believe it was a split decision. Am I correct?
I'm having some issues with that too, but uh, I think the fight that you're talking about featured the son of a Hall of Famer, Costa Zoo, and this was
Yeah,
Costa Zoo's son, Tim, I believe.
yeah,
Uh, and in the first fight, there was a horrible gash uh, and a lot of blood, coming down. And uh, but in this fight, uh, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, in this fight, uh, he was just he just recognized this is not my night.
yeah,
This just I just don't have it tonight.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and hey, applaud to him because
yes,
you should know that. As a fighter, a lot of fighters do know that they don't recognize, they don't accept it. I have to applaud this kid because, he said, you know what, I just don't have it tonight.
yeah,
So I'm stepping back, I'm stepping out, and
right,
I applaud that. Because
yeah,
that's exactly what we do when we see that, you know, we need to save this fighter from himself or
yeah,
herself.
yeah. Well, uh, Fun, Fundora, I believe that his last fight on the Mackie or the Manny Pacquiao fight is going to be bigger with Keith Thurman because, like I said, Keith Thurman has been around the block a few times. He's fought some well notable opponents,
Mm-hmm.
and and yeah, it's gonna be a tough one for
Yeah,
Fundora.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure Keith wants to get back in the mainstream of his weight division, and the fact that Fundora has a title gives him that opportunity to get back in the mainstream of of,
yeah,
of things. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And you know, a part of what's happening now, some of it good, some of it, in my opinion, not so good. But the good is that fighters are somewhat being compensated better now than they have been in the past, and I'm definitely a
yeah,
proponent of that.
yeah,
They're the ones who step in that four square. They're the
yeah,
ones who step through that ring. They're the ones who take the punches. You know, they're the ones who risk their life each time they step through that rope. You know,
yeah,
they're the ones who try to put a stamp on their legacy every time they step in through that rope. So I'm all for that. I'm
yeah,
all for fighters being compensated a lot better. And the fact that that's happening is bringing some fighters who out there on the ledge thinking about maybe retire. Now they're talking about coming back in. And you have some who have retired who are now thinking about making a comeback into it because now the compensation is a little bit better. So I'm all for that. But some of the matches I have some issues with.
Yeah. Now, last Saturday night, there was a total of 9 fights on the card, 10 fights on the card.
Yeah.
There was.
I believe it was 10 fights.
It was 10 fights.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. And a lot of fans don't know because those that are watching it on television, the fight card actually started at the first fight walked out at what time?
About 7:00, I believe. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the first fight. Looking at the undercard.
Oh my goodness! Must have been like about 1:30.
1:30.
Yeah.
1:30.
Yeah.
And then the television started at, you said
roughly 7? about 7. Yeah.
7, and usually they start around 6.
Mm-hmm.
And they usually have 3 to 4 fights. If it's 3 fights, the 4th fight will be the main event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And usually that could start between 8:30, possibly 9 o'clock.
Yeah. On the West Coast.
On the West Coast.
On the West Coast, yeah.
And I know they like to start a little sooner because the people on the East Coast, it's tough for them because you're talking midnight for them.
Yeah.
As far as being able to watch the contest. And that's a long time to be hanging out, to want to watch the fight, but there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
And if a fight is international, that's a little better because you might be watching the fight in the afternoon, like 2 or 3 o'clock, but the undercard stuff may have started at 10 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah,
so depending upon where you are, your location dictates a lot as to what time of the day, what time of the hour you're going to be able to watch the fight or any fight.
Yeah. Now, but, a lot of people. I was sitting on the officials' row during the Canelo Crawford fight. And the interesting thing about that, the people were right behind me, paying public people sitting right behind us. And it was interesting listening to the comments that they were making. Most of them were pro Canelo. And it was interesting listening to them at the beginning of the fight, and as the fight unfolded, listening to them going, "Hey, you know what? I don't know. I think maybe Crawford pulled. I think Crawford won that round." You could see the shift in the ring was echoed by the shift in the public, the people who were sitting behind me, and they were saying, I don't know how's he doing that, man. And so for those fans out there, I will tell you from the eyes of a referee what I saw that was so positive in this fight. First of all, I've said time and time again that fights are won from the waist down. And what Crawford did in this fight, utilizing his legs, he stymied Canelo's power. Speed kills. Now, to be honest, Canelo has very fast hands and he throws excellent combinations, but he had to be in position to do that.
Right.
And that is what Terrence took away from him. He controlled range by using excellent footwork to position himself to throw his combinations. And when Canelo closed and was throwing a lot of power shots, rather than step out, Crawford stepped in and engaged with him.
Yes, he did.
Okay, power shots with him, which many thought would be the difference in the fight if Canelo started to do that Crawford would will, and he didn't.
Right.
He came back and fought and stood in, in the infighting along with Canelo, matching power for power.
Yes.
So he was using his footwork and his hand speed to control via the jab, via his combinations, to control the flow of the fight.
Yeah.
And he did that to the extent that by round 10, you could definitely see a significant change. In rounds 10 and 11, what I saw was a young man in Canelo who was flustered. He was very flustered.
Yeah.
And that was echoed in his comments. He said, I didn't know what to do with that style. I couldn't catch him,
Yes.
And he was fighting a southpaw.
Yeah.
Because Terrence never went back to orthodox. He stayed southpaw for the entire fight.
The whole fight.
And you know that when you're fighting a southpaw, when a southpaw is fighting orthodox, he's going to move away from his power hand, which for Canelo is his right hand. So Terrence all night was moving away from that power hand. Okay.
Moving away from that
By moving away from that power hand, he was luring Canelo into his power hand. Okay. Straight left. And so when you sit down and analyze the tactics and the technique that he utilized to limit a stronger, bigger opponent, that's how you do it. Yeah. That's what he did. And it was a marvelous display of boxing. Marvelous display of boxing, and a beautiful contrast of styles.
I remember when the bell rung and when Terrence first came out, he threw 2 or 3 little tapping jabs, right jabs. I mean, I don't even think it touched Canelo, but it was almost like he was saying, "This is what you're gonna see all night. It's this jab coming.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm gonna miss it, but sometimes I'm gonna touch you with it, and every time I touch you with it, I'm gonna score."
Yeah.
And I know you remember the one punch. I don't know if it was the 10th or 11th round that he hit Canelo with, and his whole head turned. It was almost like at that point you could see the look on Canelo's face was like, "What can I do?"
Yeah, he was frustrated.
He was frustrated.
Yeah.
Total frustrated. Yes, he was. Yes,
but now there was a lot of talk out there about Canelo in his past fights. Cherry picking is the term that I think they used. He's just cherry picking. And I don't know that cherry picking label was really valid in the agreement that he made to fight Crawford. Crawford, who although he's smaller, was a smaller man. Crawford had a resume that would knock that cherry picking thing out of the water. I
Yeah.
say, okay, because
Yeah.
his resume was a very solid resume. He was a very solid opponent for Canelo. So
Right.
Canelo wasn't cherry picking when he
Yeah.
agreed to fight Crawford. So all props and all props to Canelo for accepting that,
Yeah.
knowing that he was going to be in for a competitive fight.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, you have to give Canelo, I mean, when Floyd Mayweather fought Canelo, to me, because you saw frustration on Canelo's face in that fight as well. That was almost like the blueprint as how to beat Canelo.
Yeah.
And for Terrence, it was just a matter of taking that fight and studying that fight, and you got the blueprint as to how to beat
Yeah,
him.
because the blueprint for those who are knowledgeable in boxing, the blueprint to beat this particular opponent, Canelo, is you have to have excellent lateral movement, which
Yeah,
Crawford does. And you had to have an excellent jab, which
yes,
Crawford had and utilized. Very simple.
yes,
Very simple. Okay. Uh,
yeah,
and he utilized it extraordinarily well. And that's what made the fight for some who were viewing it. My goodness, how easy can this get? And it was an easy fight by no stretch
right,
of the imagination. Anyone
right,
who thinks this was an easy fight is crazy. It
right,
wasn't an easy fight. It was
right,
a uh, 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 strategically controlled fight.
yes,
And Mr. Crawford was the person that was in control.
yeah. Well, call in now, fans. The link to join is in the description. It's in the descriptions. Give us a call. The clock is ticking, baby. Yep, yep, yep. So um, the talk after the fight, more so what I read yesterday, and I know we've covered it, but I know that David Benavidez has been chasing Canelo, wanting to fight him, and the fight never materialized. Um, Apparently, there were some words that David Benavidez had to say to Canelo. Um, uh, I don't know what type of conversation between the camps that went on, but it never happened.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I'm sure David Benavidez still wants to be in the mix, and we don't know if he's going to want to chase after Crawford now, being that Crawford did the outstanding job that he did Saturday night. What's your take, Bert?
Well, I think that logically, David Benavidez is probably the number one candidate out there.
Yes,
Uh, Most people thought that Canelo ran away from him. It was the fight that most people wanted to see, Canelo and Benavidez. Benavidez is an extraordinarily gifted fighter.
yes,
Uh, he fights, I believe, though, at 175. I think that he could make 168 rather
yeah,
easily. Okay.
yes,
Or they could fight at a catchweight, you know,
right,
somewhere, some maybe 172, you know.
yeah,
Uh, so that's a very, I think, good match out there. The question is that something that Terrence would want to do now, or would
Yeah.
he want to? Uh, would he favor a rematch with Canelo? There's some
Yeah.
other people out there too. This kid Durrell uh,
Yes.
would be a very attractive outing for him, and Durrell could definitely make 160, 168. So uh, there's some folks out there. There's some
Yeah.
folks out there, and there is a possibility that Crawford says, you know what, I'm going to gain a couple of pounds, and I'm going to fight a light heavy, and so then Beefall would fall into the picture. So
Yes.
there's some attractive matchups out there. It just depends on what Mr. Crawford wants to do.
And you're right. Depending upon what Terrence wants to do, and I would say at this stage of his career, he's 37, 36, 37.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The fight that will that would make him the most money would be if he fought David Benavidez.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the
As
most
a
attractive.
That's the most attractive fight that's out there. If he so chose to take that fight, um, um, the negotiations and all that comes with the fight, I'm sure they'll make it happen. From my understanding, uh, Canelo walked away with a purse of 150 million, and Terrence walked away with a purse of 50 million. Well, Terrence is calling the shots now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so if it happens, it's going to be Terrence team making
Mm-hmm.
the calls as
Yeah.
to which way they go and how much money they choose demand that their fighter should get.
All right. Well, Kenny, it's been wonderful, man. And to all of you folks out there watching the official call, Kenny Bayless, Bob Bird, we've enjoyed hanging out with you and sharing our views on what was a very historical night in boxing, something that boxing needed, that infusion. And we look forward to it, you know, just going higher and higher and higher and higher from this night, from that night. We want to thank all of you guys out there for watching the official call live today. We go live every Monday. Thank you for watching. See you next time.
See you next time.